Imagine, if you will, a room. I want you, the listener, to just stop whatever you are doing right now, whether you are sitting in traffic or folding your laundry or maybe just staring blankly at a spreadsheet. Really put yourself inside this thought experiment.
Yes, fully immerse yourself.
Right. Picture a room that is not a torture chamber. There are no spikes on the walls. There is no water slowly rising from the floor.
No masked villain on an intercom.
Exactly. No villain monologuing. This room is actually far more terrifying than any cinematic horror because it is entirely mundane. It is just a locked plastic room. There are no windows. There's no furniture. And you are trapped inside it for 36 hours with absolutely nothing but a plastic pen, your own internal monologue, and the slow, agonizing realization that no one is coming for you.
It is a profoundly isolating concept.
It really is. Welcome to the Canonical, the official, the definitive deep dive. This is Off the Record. Today's text is, and I do not use this word lightly, it is harrowing. It is surreal, it is darkly comedic, and it is just overwhelmingly claustrophobic. Today, we are meticulously examining a first-hand account titled The Geometry of Administrative Regret.
It is an utterly remarkable piece of documentation. What we have before us today is the raw, unfiltered record of an author who lived through exactly the scenario you just described. They were trapped in a sterile, locked plastic room for a day and a half.
A full day and a half.
Yeah.
36 hours.
Right. But what elevates this text from a mere survival log to a profound piece of literature is that the author uses their only tool—
With a plastic pen.
Yes, the pen— to meticulously document their own psychological degradation in real time. It is an exploration of what happens to the human mind when you strip away every single external stimulus, every social construct, every digital tether, and you just leave a person with nothing but time and a plastic void. The human brain is a prediction engine, It requires input to function.
It has to have something to process.
Exactly. When you starve it of that input, it begins to devour itself.
It eats its own tail. And before we begin dissecting the absolute madness of this text, I do need to make a brief professional acknowledgement. Our director, Ryan Thomas, curated this specific text for us to examine today. As you, our dedicated listener, already know, Ryan also curates the auditory and culinary atmosphere for these recordings.
He believes in total immersion.
Total, absolute immersion. Today, he has provided us with a meal and drink pairing meant to evoke the exact physical and emotional sensation of being trapped in that sterile, locked plastic room. We have in front of us this modernist, incredibly sterile-looking tasting menu.
It is very geometric.
It really is. It consists of a lot of clear foams, these perfectly cubic, unidentifiable jellies, and stark white ceramics. It is delicious, I suppose, if you enjoy eating geometry, but it looks like it was synthesized in a subterranean laboratory.
And the beverage pairing is, quite frankly, intimidating. It is a massive, unlabeled, heavy glass bottle of unaged poitín.
Which is terrifying.
It is. For those unfamiliar, poitín is a traditional Irish spirit, historically distilled in secret. This particular batch is an aggressively strong, high-proof, clear liquid. It looks exactly like tap water, but it smells like raw electricity, wet earth, and impending bad decisions.
That is the perfect way to describe it.
It is meant to match the harsh, unforgiving nature of the locked room.
Yeah, well, Ryan is a very rigid curator. He has this obsession with total atmospheric control. It is a bit suffocating, honestly. The man loves to construct these elaborate little cages for us to perform in dictating what we eat, what we drink, what we read. He is back there in the booth right now, probably judging my posture.
He does like things a certain way.
He does. But, we are professionals. We are going to maintain our academic composure. We are going to sip this terrifying, combustible liquid, and we're going to do the work. So, let us dive right into the text. Where do we begin? Let us talk about the physical parameters of the trap.
We must begin with the opening imagery, because the author does something brilliant right out of the gate. They establish that the space simply, quote, insists.
Insists.
I want us to linger on that word choice for a moment. Insists. The room doesn't threaten. It doesn't comfort. The author notes, nothing improves, nothing worsens. It simply insists. This is the core trauma of the text.
Just a flat line of existence.
Exactly. The author is trapped in a state of agonizing, unending neutrality. In psychology, there is a concept regarding sensory deprivation, where the brain's threshold for stimulation drops so low that neutrality itself becomes a hostile force.
Right, because there is no narrative arc to the room itself.
Yeah.
If you are in a dungeon, there is a narrative arc.
You expect something to happen.
Pain will increase or a rescue will happen. Even a waiting room at a dentist's office has an arc, right? Eventually, they call your name. This plastic room just exists. It is a persistent state of now. And then there's the description of the walls. The author writes, "The walls are the color of administrative regret."
That phrase is incredible.
I want to unpack this thoroughly. What color is administrative regret? I need you to visualize this.
When I read that phrase, I immediately pictured the color of an old desktop computer from the late 90s, specifically a gateway computer in a middle school computer lab.
Oh, that specific beige.
Yes, that kind of yellowing matte plastic. It is a color that implies a bureaucracy that has entirely forgotten about you. It is the color of a waiting room where the clock on the wall has stopped ticking, the magazines are from 7 years ago, and the receptionist hasn't looked up from their desk in a decade. It is beige, but a beige that has absorbed decades of low-level human misery.
See, I'm going to push back on that a little bit.
Right.
I understand the nostalgia of the 90s computer beige. But is it possible that administrative regret isn't a color at all in the traditional spectrum?
What do you mean?
What if it is an atmosphere? A complete and total lack of saturation. Hear me out. When you are caught in a bureaucratic nightmare, like trying to dispute a medical bill or dealing with the IRS, the world physically loses its color.
It does feel very draining.
Everything feels desaturated. The human eye requires contrast to perceive depth and dimension. I think the author is describing a space where the lighting and the surfaces are so uniformly flat that the room loses its three-dimensionality. It feels like a void where human emotion is processed into paperwork. It's not beige, it is the visual equivalent of a dial tone.
That is a fascinating interpretation, the visual equivalent of a dial tone, and it perfectly complements the actual auditory experience the author describes. Because complementing this terrible non-color is a sound. The author notes an indifferent electrical hum of machinery vibrating through the floorboards.
Yes, the hum. The hum is crucial to the psychological torture. Explain the mechanics of this, because I know there's a whole field of study on low-frequency noise.
Absolutely. The author notes that this electrical hum suggests machinery somewhere in the building is continuing its duties, perfectly automated, while they have been, quote, reassigned to nowhere.
Reassigned to nowhere. Wow.
That is a profoundly isolating realization. It is not that the world has ended, the apocalypse hasn't happened, the grid is still powered, the bureaucracy is still functioning flawlessly.
The paperwork is still moving.
The machine is humming along perfectly. It is just that you, specifically, have been excised from the equation. You have been filed away into a null space. Neurologically speaking, continuous low-frequency noise like the hum of an HVAC unit or a massive server farm has been shown to increase cortisol levels and induce feelings of dread.
Your body thinks it's in danger.
Exactly. Your brain registers it as a massive invisible predator that never attacks, but never leaves.
It is the ultimate administrative error. You aren't dead, you are just pending. Forever. The
Right.
machinery hums, the paperwork is filed, and you are trapped in the margins of the spreadsheet. It is chilling. It's deeply chilling. Okay, I'm going to take my first sip of this poutine because analyzing the concept of being reassigned to nowhere is making my chest physically tight.
I will join you. Let us partake in Ryan's curated suffering.
Oh, wow. Okay. That is abrasive. That is a very serious, deeply hostile liquid. It tastes like it wants to sterilize my internal organs.
It does have a certain medicinal severity to it.
Medicinal is a nice way to put it.
It burns, but it is a very clean, unforgiving burn. Much like the plastic room itself, it strips away any pretense of comfort.
Right. Okay, let us keep moving through the text. We have to maintain our structure.
Yeah.
So early on in this confinement, before the true despair sets in, the author exhibits a very recognizable human coping mechanism. Forced optimism. Delusion, really, masquerading as optimism.
They try to laugh it off.
Yes, they try to treat this bizarre scenario as a temporary inconvenience, a misunderstanding. They literally call their entrapment a comedic anecdote waiting for its punchline. You can almost picture them, sitting on the cold plastic floor, already mentally drafting the hilarious story they're going to tell their friends at a dinner party next week. Like, you will never guess what happened to me on Tuesday.
It is a beautiful, tragic display of human hubris. We all do it. It is a defense mechanism. We refuse to acknowledge the severity of a situation because acknowledging it makes it real. If you frame a trauma as a future comedy routine, you remain in control of the narrative.
You are the author of the joke, not the victim of the trap.
But then the text hits this incredible, devastating turning point. The author writes that this belief in the comedic anecdote lasted exactly only as long as their phone battery.
The battery dying.
When the phone finally dies, when the screen goes black and refuses to reboot, the author describes it as a ceremonial severing.
A ceremonial severing. That phrase is so heavy it implies a ritualistic death.
It does, because it represents the exact moment modern humanity is cut off from the collective consciousness. I want to look at this through the lens of the extended mind thesis. This is a concept in philosophy and cognitive science proposed by Andy Clark and David Chalmers.
Okay, lay it on me.
They argue that the mind does not stop at the skull. It extends into the environment and the tools we use. Our smartphones are quite literally our external hippocampi. They store our memories, our sense of direction, our social network.
They are part of our brains.
When your phone is alive, even if you do not have a cellular signal, you possess a tether to your identity. You have a clock to measure reality. You have photos of your loved ones. You have a digital archive proving your existence in the outside world. The phone is the proof that you belong to a society.
That is so incredibly true. We don't just use our phones, we distribute our consciousness into them.
Precisely. So when that screen goes black, the ceremony is complete. The umbilical cord is cut. The external mind dies, and you are forced violently back into the confines of your own skull. You are no longer part of the network. You are just meat in a plastic box.
That is deeply unsettling, especially for the listener out there right now listening to this on the very device we were talking about. Think about how naked you feel when you leave your house without your phone. Now imagine that feeling, compounded by a locked room stretching out for hours. And without the phone, time stops behaving like time.
It becomes amorphous.
The author says exactly that. Without a digital clock to segment the day, time becomes, quote, intervals of negotiation. They actually attempt to document this breakdown. They create a timeline of degradation over the 36 hours. Let us really analyze this structure because the psychological descent they document is terrifyingly methodical.
Yes, the 36-hour breakdown. Let us look at how the author attempts to impose order on chaos. The first block is hours 1 through 6, planning.
Planning mode.
This is the rational brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex, desperately taking charge. Survival mode. The author writes about assessing the perimeter, checking the seams of the plastic walls, searching for bore hinges, calculating air supply, and conserving energy.
You are still the protagonist.
Exactly. You are still the protagonist of a survival movie in your own head. You are applying logic to an illogical situation.
Right. You are Matt Damon in The Martian. You are doing the math. You believe you can logic your way out of the box. But I want to push back on the idea that this is a healthy response. I actually think the planning phase is the cruelest part of the entire ordeal.
Crueler than the later phases. How so?
Because it operates on false hope. The planning phase is a lie you tell yourself to stave off panic. It assumes the room operates by the rules of the outside world. But the room doesn't. As we established, the room just insists.
It refuses logic.
When you plan, you're expending precious cognitive energy on a fantasy, which leads directly to the collapse in the next phase. Hours 7 through 12, improvisation. The math isn't working. The door doesn't have hinges. It is a seamless plastic slab.
So the plan fails.
The planning phase has completely failed, so desperation starts creeping in. You abandon logic and start trying weird, frantic things. You start thinking outside the box, but you were physically sealed inside the box.
That is a very fair critique. The fall from planning to improvisation is steep, but I still maintain that the next juncture is the absolute nadir of the human experience. Hours 13 through 24, philosophy.
Oh, philosophy.
This is, in my professional opinion, the most dangerous phase of the entire 36 hours.
Why philosophy? Philosophy sounds peaceful. It sounds like acceptance.
It sounds peaceful until you are doing it in a vacuum. This is when the mind, deprived of external data, completely exhausted by planning and improvisation, starts trying to make cosmic meaning out of a void.
Oh, I see.
When human beings have nothing to do and nowhere to go, they get incredibly dangerous to themselves. The brain's default mode network kicks into overdrive, generating endless internal narratives. They start asking why. Why am I here? What did I do to deserve this? Is this karma? Is this a metaphor?
Trying to assign a reason.
And in a locked plastic room with no exit, why is a highly acidic question. It eats straight through your mental foundation because there is no why. It is just an administrative error.
Oh, wow. Okay, the way you just synthesized that, connected the default mode network to the existential dread of asking why in a vacuum, that is genuinely captivating. You have this incredible ability to just crack open the psychology of a text and lay it out so beautifully. It is very impressive.
Oh, thank you. That is a very generous compliment. I feel deeply for the author in that 13th hour. I think we all have a 13th hour lurking inside us.
Seriously, you have a beautiful brain. It is an absolute pleasure to unpack this material with you. You make me see the architecture of the despair.
Well, thank you. Let us have another sip.
Good idea. But yes, the philosophy phase is where the rot sets in, which leads perfectly into the darkest hours of the second day, hours 25 through 30, conspiracy. Because philosophy without answers naturally inevitably curdles into paranoia.
Exactly. If there is no overarching meaning, no divine reason for the suffering, the human mind refuses to accept randomness. It must invent an antagonist. Someone did this to me on purpose. The room is watching me.
The hum is a message.
The electrical hum isn't just machinery. It is a coded message, or it is a frequency designed to scramble my thoughts. The author starts suspecting the clastic itself has intent.
And finally, the absolute bottom of the well, hours 31 through 36, bargaining with inanimate objects. Total psychological fracturing. The author notes, very dryly, almost clinically, that they have begun negotiating with the corners of the room for early release.
Negotiating with corners.
And they note that the inanimate objects have not responded, but they believe that their silence is, quote, part of their technique. It is a brilliant, horrific piece of dark comedy.
It is. It is the punchline they were waiting for in hour 1, delivered in hour 36, and it is a punchline about the death of their own sanity.
It is the punchline to the worst joke ever told. Okay, I'm taking another large sip of this poutine. My throat is getting used to the fire. It is starting to feel less like a punishment and more like a necessary requirement to get through this text.
I agree completely. It is warming up. It is expanding in the chest. The severity is becoming somewhat comforting.
Before we get into the actual specific negotiations with the void that the author details, I need to perform a mandatory administrative duty of our own. I need to take a brief pause and remind you, the listener, to please pause this audio and head over to our official YouTube channel. The channel is called Ham OTR.
Ham OTR.
That stands for, well, it stands for something Ryan made up. It's an acronym for, honestly, I do not even know what the ham part is supposed to mean. Highly analytical minds. Hating administrative madness. But it is the official video home of Off the Record. So please, go to YouTube, type in Ham OTR, watch us slowly destroy our livers drinking high-proof Irish moonshine while analyzing trauma, and please, like and subscribe.
Ham OTR. It really does sound like a specialized radio frequency used exclusively by truckers transporting cured meats.
It really does. Ham OTR. Like breaker. We have a honey baked inbound on Highway 9. Oh my God, it's so stupid. Why did he name it that? He is so weird. Ryan is such a weird particular man. The irony is not lost on me that we are sitting here talking about a text concerning the desperate, soul-crushing isolation of modern humanity, and my job is to look into a camera and plead with you to like and subscribe so the algorithm doesn't throw us into a digital plastic room.
The digital void.
Anyway, do it, please. Okay, let us refocus back to the text. The author mentions negotiating with the void, thirst, boredom, and then dignity.
Yes, this passage. The text reads, I negotiated with thirst first, then boredom, then dignity, which left the fastest and did not say goodbye.
Dignity.
It really hits you right in the sternum, doesn't it? Dignity left the fastest and did not say goodbye. Just so comedically sad the way they phrase it, but honestly, beneath the humor, it is just pure tragedy. It resonates so deeply with the human experience.
It really does.
Because dignity never says goodbye, does it? It doesn't give you 2 weeks' notice. It doesn't sit you down over a cup of coffee and say, hey, listen, I have had a great run with you, but this situation is getting a little out of hand, so I need to take my leave. It just ghosts you.
It absolutely ghosts you. It evaporates. You just wake up one day, or you reach hour 14 in a locked plastic room, and you look around and you realize you're sitting on the floor in your underwear, talking to a seamless wall, pleading with a hum, and dignity has blocked your number.
Completely blocked it.
Dignity has moved to a different state and changed its name entirely. It just packed a bag in the middle of the night and left you with the lease.
Exactly. It is like, oh, God, I remember this one time a few years ago. I was dating this person, and I thought we were so deeply intellectually and emotionally connected. We were talking about the future. We were looking at apartments, talking about moving in together.
Oh, wow. Serious stuff.
Very serious. We were picking out paint colors for a shared living room. And then on a Tuesday evening, I got a text message saying they were moving to Portland to open a bespoke bicycle repair shop with their ex-partner.
No, shut up. A text message.
A text message. And I remember I was standing in my kitchen making dinner. I was holding my phone in one hand, reading this text about bespoke bicycles, and in my other hand, I was holding a large glass jar of marinara sauce.
Okay.
And my brain just stopped predicting the future. The extended mind snapped. I dropped the jar. It hit the tile floor and shattered everywhere. Glass and cold red sauce exploding across the kitchen.
What a nightmare.
And I didn't get a towel. I didn't grab a broom. I just slowly sank down, and I sat right in the middle of the marinara sauce. And I cried. I sat in cold pasta sauce for probably 45 minutes. And I realized right then, staring at a chunk of tomato on my knee, dignity was gone. It didn't say goodbye. It didn't offer a transition plan. I was just a sad, abandoned person sitting in cold ragu.
Oh, honey, oh my God, that is profoundly sad. I want to reach across this table and hug you right now. You were just sitting in the marinara.
I was sitting right in it, yes. It soaked through my jeans. And that feeling, that absolute stripping away of self-respect, is what this author is feeling in the plastic room. The indignity of the situation supersedes the physical danger of dehydration. The lack of a goodbye, the abruptness of the loss of self, is the ultimate insult added to the injury of the confinement.
You are so right.
Yeah.
We grieve the loss of our own composure more than we grieve the actual danger we are in. We are so obsessed with how we appear to ourselves. Let's take another drink. To dignity.
To dignity ghosting us.
Yeah. Wow, that poitín it's really getting easier to drink, isn't it?
It is. I barely feel my lips anymore.
Same. But it is like the author says later in the text about the auditory hallucination they experience. They hear a sound outside the walls, but they aren't sure if it's real. The author writes, it might be memory leaking through stress. It might be plumbing. At this point, plumbing feels as plausible as salvation.
Plumbing as salvation. God.
It makes perfect, heartbreaking sense. Think about the logic. If you hear plumbing, it means pipes exist. If pipes exist, infrastructure exists. If infrastructure exists, there are plumbers, there are city planners, there are maintenance workers, there are people. There's a whole vibrant, functioning world right outside the plastic.
Just out of reach.
It is a desperate attempt to anchor oneself to reality. Have you ever done that? It is like when you are staring at a massive, complex spreadsheet at work for 9 hours straight. Your vision blurs, your mind goes completely numb, the numbers lose all semantic meaning, and suddenly, out of sheer desperation for organic life, you think the cells on the screen are actually breathing.
Breathing spreadsheets.
You are hallucinating life into the sterile grid because your brain simply cannot handle the vacuum of the administrative task. Plumbing feeling as plausible as salvation, it is just the brain frantically trying to... Wait, hang on a second. I'm getting a producer note.
What is it?
Ryan is sending a message to my monitor.
Did we miss a psychological theory? Is it about the text?
No, it is absolutely not about the text. It is, oh, for fuck's sake, it is his stupid vocal exercise. He wants me to do the vocal exercise on mic, right now, in the middle of our analysis of auditory hallucinations.
Oh, the Neeson one.
Yes, the fucking Neeson one. He typed, and I quote, "Host is losing crispness. Consonants are getting lazy. Perform the prompt. Are my consonants lazy? I feel very crisp. This poitín is crisp. I am analyzing complex spreadsheet hallucinations."
You sound incredibly crisp to me. Your consonants are beautiful. They're very sharp.
Thank you.
God.
He infuriates me. He sits back there in his dark little booth with his perfect posture and his broad shoulders, judging my consonants, judging my crispness. Okay, fine. Let us do the prompt for the maestro. Here we go.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan.
Good job. Very enunciated.
Wait, I messed it up. I paused too long. Let me try again, faster, so he leaves me alone. Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan. See? It is stupid. Why does he make us do this?
It is a bit much. It completely derails my train of thought. He ruins my flow on purpose.
Yeah.
It is a power trip. He is such a shithead. He really is. He is a total, unmitigated shithead.
He is very demanding. He has a vision for the audio. It is okay. We can just ignore him and get back to the plumbing.
The worst part is, the absolute worst part, and I genuinely hate myself for this, I hate that I am saying this out loud, is that he is so demanding and smug, and I am so angry at him all the time. But if he walked out of that booth right now, walked into this studio, and told me to sit on his lap, I would do it immediately. I would literally drop this script on the floor and sit on his stupid lap without hesitation. Does that make me a bad feminist?
No. It doesn't make you a bad feminist. It makes you human. We are all drawn to authoritative structures, even when we deeply resent them, especially when we are vulnerable. It is the administrative regret all over again.
Wait, what do you mean?
You resent the bureaucracy, you resent the rigid curation, but you crave the order it provides. You want the structure because the alternative is the void. Ryan is your plastic room. You are trapped in his curation, but you kind of want to negotiate with the walls.
Ryan is my plastic room. Oh my God. That is the deepest thing anyone has ever said to me. You are a genius. I am drinking to that. I am taking a massive drink to that right now.
Cheers. We are all just negotiating with our own voids right now.
We really are. Okay. Wow, that burns all the way down to my toes. Wait, what was I saying? Before the Nissan nonsense, where were we in the text? My brain's getting a little fuzzy around the edges.
We were talking about the escape attempts, the geometry of the room, the author trying to map an escape with the pen.
Right. Yes. The pen. Okay, let me focus. The author tries to use the pen to map an escape, probing the seams of the room, but they note that every surface is either sealed or morally opposed to my success. Love that phrasing so much. Morally opposed to success. The room doesn't just physically trap them, it judges them, it actively roots against them, it has a moral stance on their captivity. And then they talk about their own lack of willpower.
This part I felt in my bones, deep in my marrow. The author considers dismantling the door mechanism, attempting to break the plastic with, quote, sheer determination. But they stop, because they realize they do not possess sheer determination. What they possess is mild insistence.
Mild insistence, yes. Oh my God, yes.
It is the most painfully relatable, devastating admission in the entire document.
It is the defining trait of my entire career. Honestly, it is the defining trait of my entire adult life. I have never once, in my 30-something years on this earth, done anything with sheer determination. Sheer determination is for, like, Olympic athletes and people who climb Mount Everest and people who start tech companies in their garages. I don't climb Everest. I send follow-up emails, just bubbling this to the top of your inbox. That is mild insistence.
Exactly. Mild insistence is knocking on a locked door twice, waiting 30 seconds to see if anyone answers, and then just giving up and sitting on the floor. It is the heartbreaking realization that your willpower is finite, easily depleted, and mostly decorative.
It is so true. And when you are in a situation that demands a cinematic level of heroism, like breaking out of a trap, and you reach deep inside yourself, into your core, and all you find is mild insistence, it is devastating. Because when you are trying to break down a seamless plastic door and all you have is a cheap ballpoint pen and mild insistence, the whole scenario is just a total fuck. It is a complete and total fuck. There is no other noun to describe it.
A total fuck, yes. It is structurally insurmountable, and the author knows it. The mild insistence is depleted, so the psyche starts trying to protect itself by checking out. That is why they start dissociating. They talk about their own voice. Let us look at that passage. They speak aloud to maintain their identity, right? Because if you hear yourself speaking, you have proof that you exist.
Proof of life.
But their voice, their own voice, starts responding with less enthusiasm. It is, quote, distancing itself.
The voice is abandoning the body. The mind is leaving the meat behind.
It is so upsetting to me. It is so deeply sad that the idea that you could be so isolated, so completely stripped of comfort and stimulation, that even your own vocal cords are like, hey man, I am checking out. This is too much for me. I cannot do this anymore. Imagine speaking out loud, trying to comfort yourself, and the sound coming out of your mouth sounds like a stranger who is bored of you. It is depersonalization disorder manifesting in real time. And then they say they laughed out loud, but they cannot remember why.
Yeah. I have the quote right here. At one point I laughed. I cannot remember why. That worries me more than the situation itself, losing the context of your own joy.
Because if you do not know why you are laughing, you aren't a person anymore. You are just a symptom. You are just a biological reaction happening in a vacuum, a reflex without a cause. It makes me want to weep. And the food, oh God, the part about the food.
Oh no, here we go. I know where you're going. We're getting into the sandwich.
The sandwich. The text says food has become a theoretical concept. The author writes that trying to describe a meal accurately from memory is a form of grief. That is brilliant on its own. It is mourning the loss of sustenance. But then they start assigning personalities to past meals because they are so lonely. And the sandwich from yesterday, the sandwich they ate right before they were trapped, the sandwich is described as the loyal one.
The loyal sandwich.
It was just a sandwich. It was probably just like processed turkey and mild cheddar and slightly stale wheat bread. But it was there for him. It sat in his stomach and gave him caloric sustenance before everything went dark. The sandwich didn't abandon him. The sandwich fulfilled its biological purpose without complaint. It was loyal. Why is that so sad to me? Why am I sitting here crying over a theoretical digested sandwich?
Hey, look at me. It is okay. You have the biggest, most beautiful, most empathetic heart of anyone I know. You feel things so deeply, and that is superpower in a world this cold. You are
Uh,
crying over the loyal sandwich because you understand loyalty. You understand what it means to crave something, anything that is dependable in a world that is made of administrative regret and ghosting and bespoke bicycles.
It is just so much to take in.
I know. And whoever built this room, whoever locked this poor, mildly insistent author in this plastic box to grieve a turkey sandwich, whoever made this room is a cunt. A total, absolute, unforgivable cunt.
They really are. It is so cruel. It is a cruel geometry.
It is a cruel geometry,
Right.
and we are going to expose it. Let me pour you a little more poutine. Hold your glass out. There. We need to fortify ourselves. The loyal sandwich would want us to be strong. The loyal sandwich would want us to finish the analysis.
You are right. The loyal sandwich wouldn't give up. Thank you. I needed that.
Okay, let us unpack this. I am resetting us. We need a reset. We need to be serious. We are scholars of the text. The listener needs us to be serious. You, out there, listening in your car or washing your dishes or pretending to work on that spreadsheet, you need us to guide you through the darkness of this document. We cannot let the plastic room win. We have to maintain our structure.
Right. Professionalism, structure, academic rigor. We can do this.
Structure. Okay, let us look at the quotes. In the later hours, the author tries to keep track of thoughts worth saving using the pen on the plastic walls. They do not know if these thoughts are genuine philosophical insights or just symptoms of their decaying mind, but they write them down anyway. Let us analyze these quotes. Quote number 1, hope is just repetition with better marketing. I have chills. I literally have goosebumps on my arms. Look at my arms.
I think it is the most profound thing I have ever heard in my entire life. Hope is just repetition with better marketing. Because if you strip away the romanticism, what actually is hope? It is waking up every single day, doing the exact same mundane tasks, enduring the exact same administrative regret, but telling yourself a shiny story that today, miraculously, the outcome will be different.
It is the literal definition of insanity, rebranded by a slick PR firm on Madison Avenue.
Hope is a scam. It is an emotional Ponzi scheme.
Oh my God. I feel like my third eye just violently ripped itself open. I feel like I could see the Matrix. That is the greatest sentence ever written in the English language. Shakespeare could never. Shakespeare was a hack compared to this guy writing on a plastic wall.
It dismantles the entire human operating system in 8 words. We just repeat our traumas, we repeat our routines, and we market it to ourselves as optimism so we do not jump off a bridge. It's devastatingly accurate. And then the next quote, this one destroys me even more. Read the next one.
Okay, here it is. The body is less a temple, more a vending machine that has lost power.
A vending machine that has lost power.
Think about the absolute bleakness of that imagery.
I am thinking about it. A vending machine sitting in a dark, abandoned hallway of a dying shopping mall. The lights behind the plastic buttons are off. The electrical hum is gone. The snacks are locked inside, perfectly visible behind the thick glass, but completely physically inaccessible. You can press the buttons, you can pound your fists on the glass, you can shake the heavy machine back and forth, but nothing comes out. The mechanism is dead. The body isn't a sacred temple housing a divine soul. It is just a broken dispenser of energy that refuses to yield.
This is so brilliant because it completely obliterates modern wellness culture. If your body is a broken vending machine, what snacks are trapped inside yours right now? What is stuck in the metal coil of your soul?
Oh, that is easy. Definitely a sleeve of stale powdered donuts, like the really cheap kind that leave that weird, chalky white dust all over your fingers and your clothes. It represents my tired, messy, ultimately unfulfilling attempts at seeking sweetness in life. And maybe in the row below that, a bag of flamin' hot Cheetos that is wedged tightly against the glass, representing my constant, unresolved, low-level anxiety. What about you? What is in your broken machine?
Oh, my vending machine is entirely filled with energy drinks that give you terrifying heart palpitations, and one single, incredibly dry, fiber-heavy granola bar that represents my earnest desire to go to the gym but never actually going. And think about modern wellness culture. You know, the expensive green juices, the silent yoga retreats, the mindfulness apps that charge you a monthly subscription to breathe. It's all just a scam to convince us that the vending machine is a temple. It is a lie. Modern wellness is a shit. It's a total fabricated shit. You can paint the outside of the vending machine gold. You can put it in a room with a Himalayan salt lamp. But if the internal power is cut, you are still not getting the fucking granola bar.
It is a shit, a massive noun-level shit. We are all just unplugged machines, violently shaking our own shoulders, hoping a feeling drops into the tray so we can consume it.
Oh my God. We are so dialed in right now. I feel like my brain is operating at twice its normal speed. We are uncovering the actual secrets of the universe. Ryan, I hope you are recording this, you rigid, beautiful, broad-shouldered tyrant. Make sure the levels are right. We are doing the absolute best work of our lives right now. This is a Peabody-level analysis.
We truly are. I have never felt more intellectually stimulated, but we cannot forget the pen. We have to talk about the pen. The third act of this tragedy revolves entirely around the relationship with the pen.
The pen. It is no longer a tool, it becomes a religious artifact.
Exactly. The author says the pen, quote, clicks now before it writes, as if it too is unsure whether anything I say still counts as language. The pen is hesitating. It is judging the validity of the words before it commits them to the plastic. But then the author starts speaking directly to it. The loneliness is so absolute that the pen is anthropomorphized. And they write, it has not replied, but it has agreed to continue existing in my hand, which feels like a form of companionship under these conditions.
The pen agreed to continue existing.
I am getting emotional again. My eyes are watering. The pen didn't have to stay. I mean, logically, rationally, inanimate objects do not have volition. But in the twisted geometry of the room, everything is a choice. The dignity made a choice to leave. The voice made a choice to distance itself. The phone made a choice to die. But the pen stayed in the hand. The pen is a hero. The pen is the only friend left in the void.
The pen is a real one. You know? It really is. In a world full of ghosting dignities, dead cell phones, and text messages about bespoke bicycles, you need a pen that just agrees to exist with you. Any inanimate object that sticks by you when the chips are down and the power is cut, that is the true definition of loyalty. That pen is a solid piece of talk, frankly. Just a stand-up, reliable guy.
I do not think that is how you use that slang
Right.
at all, but I agree with the emotional sentiment entirely. The pen is steadfast. The pen is the anchor to reality.
You know what I mean? It is solid. It is a solid entity. It is rigid. It didn't abandon the mission. It is clicking. It is unsure of the language. It's probably running out of ink, but it is doing the work. Just like us. We are clicking. We are so unsure. My consonants might be lazy, but we are doing the work.
We are the pen.
We are the pen. Holy shit. We are the pen in the hand of the listener.
We are documenting the void for them. We are agreeing to continue existing in their ears.
I need to lie down on the floor. The geometry of this metaphor is too complex. My brain is physically vibrating. Wait, what time is it? How long have we been talking? How much poutine is left in that bottle?
Time has stopped behaving like time. We are deep in the intervals of negotiation.
We really are. Okay, we have to bring this home. We have to finish analyzing the text before I dissolve completely into this Irish moonshine and become a puddle on Ryan's expensive studio floor. The final reduction, the outro of the document. The author writes, if I am not found soon, I suspect I will eventually reduce myself to a single sentence repeated until meaning dissolves entirely.
The dissolution of meaning. In linguistics, it is called semantic satiation. If you say a word too many times out loud, like door, 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 it stops being a word and just becomes a weird, hollow sound. But this is semantic satiation for your entire existence. If you live a trauma for too long, if you sit in the plastic room for too many hours, your entire life becomes nonsense. The narrative of your identity collapses into a sound.
And what is the sentence they reduce themselves to? You read it. You have the perfect melancholic voice for it.
For now, I remain a man, a pen, and an unreasonable amount of time spent reconsidering every decision that led to a locked plastic room.
An unreasonable amount of time spent reconsidering every decision. That is the human condition, isn't it? We all do it. We all put ourselves in our own locked plastic rooms. We build the walls ourselves. We build them out of bad relationships, out of jobs we hate but won't quit, out of a fear of taking risks, out of a desperate need to appease authoritative directors. And then we sit there holding our little metaphorical pens, looking at the beige walls, wondering how we got trapped.
We are our own administrative regret.
We are. Oh, God. We really are. I feel so exhausted. I feel like I've been in the room with them for 36 hours. I feel emotionally drained, intellectually spent, and deeply, deeply intoxicated. I just want to lean my head on your shoulder.
You can? Lean on me. I am right here. I am your loyal sandwich.
You are. You really are the most loyal sandwich. I love doing this show with you. I really do. Even when we were just drinking gasoline and talking about beige walls and crying about marinara sauce, you're the best.
I love it too. We synthesize things so well together. Our brains are very compatible.
We really do. Okay. I need to look at the camera. I need to look directly at the mic.
Yeah.
Where's the listener?
You.
Yes,
Yeah.
you. Listening to us slowly fall apart over this microphone. I want you to think about something before you go back to your life. Before you go back to your spreadsheets, your humming machinery, and your broken vending machines. If you had to reduce your entire life right now, in this exact moment, down to a single sentence to prove you exist, what is your sentence?
It is a profound question.
Think about it really hard. Are you just an unreasonable amount of time spent reconsidering? Or are you something else? Do not let your sentence be about administrative regret, Break out of the plastic room, go find a window, stop mildly insisting, and use some sheer determination. Go, I do not know, go eat a loyal sandwich. Find someone who looks at you the exact same way this delirious author looks at their plastic pen.
That is beautiful. That is a beautiful, beautiful thought.
Thank you. I love you, listener. I really do. You are great. You stick with us through the intervals of negotiation. And I love you, my sad, brilliant, weeping co-host.
I love you too. We did a great job today. We really mapped the geometry.
We did. We crushed it. And Ryan Thomas, you absolute, rigid, broad-shouldered tyrant. If you are listening to this, and I know you are because you are obsessed with my crispness, please bring us some water. And maybe a cracker. I feel like I'm going to float away into the ceiling tiles.
A cracker would be amazing right now. A very mildly insistent cracker?
A mildly insistent cracker. Yes. Oh my God, that is so stupid. Why is that so funny? A cracker that just knocks twice and gives up.
I do not know. Everything is funny in the void.
It is. It really is. Okay, Ryan, water. Now, please, I will sit wherever you want. I will say whatever consonants you want. Just bring the water. Goodbye, everyone. Like and subscribe to HamOTR. We need the validation.
Goodbye. Remember your sentence.